Children, next important topic is Indian textile in European market. Children, by the early 18th century, worried about the popularity of Indian textile and wool and silk makers in England, they began protesting against the import of Indian cotton textile. That means the cotton textile which was coming from India to Europe, to England. So they began protesting against the import of Indian cotton textile. And in 1720, a legislation banning the use of printed cotton textile chintz, which was very popular, chintz from India, that was this legislation that was passed. And this was known as the Calico Act. And this was done to secure the internal market for British textile from Indian competition. Children, during this time, textile industries had just begun to develop in England and they were unable to compete with the Indian textiles, and English producers wanted to secure market within the country by banning the entry of Indian textile. And after getting protection from their government, calico printing industry grew. And Indian designs were now imitated and printed in England on white muslin or plain unbleached Indian cloth. Children, as European traders or manufacturers, they were facing competition with Indian textile, and this situation led to a surge of technological innovations in England. And in England, innovations like spinning jenny and steam engine that revolutionized cotton textile weaving. Now children, in this image you can see that each member of the family, earlier they were involved in the production of yarn, and you can notice that one wheel is moving only one spindle. But the invention of spinning jenny that revolutionized the production. Children, spinning jenny, it was a machine by which a single worker could operate several spindles onto which thread was spun. When the wheel was turned, all the spindles rotated. This machine speeded up the spinning process and reduced labor demanded. By turning one single wheel, a worker could set in motion a number of spindles and spin several threads at the same time. Now in this image you can see the number of spindles that could be operated with one wheel. Children, the invention of the steam engine by Richard Arkwright in 1786 revolutionized cotton textile weaving. And because of these inventions, invention of spinning jenny, invention of steam engine, cloth could now be woven in immense quantities and cheaply too. In this image you can see how giant wheels moved by steam power could set in motion hundreds of spindles to manufacture thread. Children, Indian textile continued to dominate world trade till the end of 18th century, and European trading companies, the Dutch, the French and the English, made enormous profit out of this flourishing trade. Now how this trade was being done? These companies, they purchased cotton and silk textile in India by importing silver. But later on, when the English East India Company gained political power in Bengal, it no longer had to import precious metal to buy Indian goods. Instead, they collected revenue from peasants and zamindars in India and used this revenue to buy Indian textile. These European companies gradually gained power and started to control sea trade in India. They secured a variety of concessions which they obtained from the local courts and by gaining monopoly right to trade. These companies did not want to use the old ports of Surat, Masulipatam and Hooghly. Instead, they developed the port of Bombay and Calcutta. Now, in this figure, you can see a sea view of the Dutch settlement in Cochin, 17th century. As a European trade expanded, trading settlements were established at various ports. Now some recapitulation question. First question, what was Calico Act? Second question, what was a spinning jenny? Third question, who invented steam engine? Children, quickly answer these questions.